People forget what the world felt like in 1974. It was a different time, a free time. People trusted each other more than they should have. Young women especially. They were confident, independent, friendly. They believed the world was mostly good. Lake Sammamish was full of laughter that summer. Sunlight, music, bare feet on the grass. No one thought danger was sitting right beside them. I remember that clearly. I don't say that to shock you. I say it because that was the spirit of the time. Open, relaxed, safer so it seemed. Denise Naslund fit into that world perfectly.
Unit 7, continue searching the area around the water's edge. Over.
A summer day at Lake Sammamish, the murder of Denise Naslund. Denise Naslund was 23 years old. She was a young woman known to her friends as kind, outgoing, and dependable. Denise had a bright smile, an easy laugh, and a life that, by all accounts, was just beginning to unfold. She was a devoted daughter, a friend who showed up when needed, and a woman who, like many others, trusted the world around her. On the afternoon of July 14, 1974, Denise went to Lake Sammamish State Park near Issaquah, Washington. It was a warm summer Sunday. Families picnicked by the shore. Children swam in the lake. Music drifted through the air. By nightfall, Denise Naslund would be gone. Part 1. Lake Sammamish State Park. Lake Sammamish State Park stretches along the eastern edge of the lake, just outside the small town of Issaquah. In 1974, it was a place of relaxation and safety, a popular escape for Seattle residents looking to enjoy sunshine and water. On this particular day, hundreds of people crowded the beach. Blankets were spread across the grass, boats cut across the water. No one suspected that this peaceful scene would soon become the center of one of the most chilling crimes in Washington state history. Witnesses would later say the atmosphere felt normal, comfortable, safe, too safe. Ted meet Denise Naslund. Denise arrived at the park with friends. She spent the afternoon swimming and talking near the shoreline. At some point, she was approached by a man who introduced himself simply as Ted. The man appeared well-spoken, clean-cut. He wore casual clothes and had one arm in a sling. He explained that he had injured his shoulder and asked for help carrying items to his car. Several women noticed him that day. He asked more than one for assistance. Denise was last seen walking away from the beach with this man, heading toward the parking lot. She told friends she would be back shortly. She never returned.
Hello and welcome to Lake Sammamish State Park. I am standing here in Issaquah, Washington. Just one day ago, a young woman named Denise Naslund disappeared from this park. Denise was 18 years old. She had dark hair and a friendly smile. She came here to enjoy a summer day by the lake. Several witnesses say they saw Denise talking to a man. The man told people his name was Ted. He had talked to more girls before Denise.
The search and fear. As the afternoon faded into evening, concern began to spread. Denise's friends searched the park. They checked the parking lot. They waited. When Denise failed to return home, police were notified. Days later, her disappearance became something far darker. Denise Naslund had not simply vanished. She had been murdered. Her remains would later be found in a remote wooded area, far from the laughter and sunshine of Lake Sammamish. The realization struck the community hard. A young woman had been taken in broad daylight. in front of witnesses from a crowded public park. Part 2. The Suspected Man. Ted investigators began speaking with park visitors. A pattern quickly emerged. Multiple women described the same man. He was white, in his mid-20s, approximately 6 feet tall. Brown hair, neatly parted. He appeared polite, intelligent, and calm. Most striking was the sling on his arm. Witnesses recalled that he asked for help loading a sailboat or carrying items.
One witness says Denise walked away with this man. She went with him to help him with his boat. After that, no one saw Denise again. Police are now searching the park and talking to witnesses. They are asking anyone with information to come forward. This quiet park is now the center of a serious investigation.
Some remembered his name clearly: Ted. Several women reported feeling uneasy, but nothing overtly threatening had occurred. He seemed trustworthy, harmless. That trust would prove deadly. Part 3. A second victim. Janice Ott. On that same day, just hours later, another young woman disappeared from Lake Sammamish State Park. Her name was Janice Ott. Like Denise, she was last seen leaving the beach with a man named Ted. 2 women, 1 location, 1 suspect. The case escalated from a disappearance to what police feared was the work of a serial offender. The manhunt begins. Law enforcement launched one of the largest investigations the region had ever seen. Sketch artists worked from eyewitness accounts. Patrol officers canvassed neighborhoods. A key detail emerged. The suspect drove a tan or light-colored Volkswagen Beetle. Police released descriptions to the public. Tips poured in. Friends, co-workers, and acquaintances across Washington began calling in names. One name surfaced repeatedly: Ted Bundy. Who was Ted Bundy? Ted Bundy was a law student, intelligent, articulate, ambitious. To those who knew him, the idea that he could be involved in such crimes seemed impossible. But witnesses recognized him. His car matched the description. His name matched the one given at the lake, and beneath the surface of charm and confidence, investigators would soon uncover something far more disturbing. Part 4. Aftermath and Arrest. Although Bundy was questioned, evidence was limited. The case dragged on. More women disappeared across Washington, Utah, and Colorado. The pattern repeated. Young women vanished. Bodies were later discovered. Ted Bundy was eventually arrested, escaped custody not once but twice, and continued killing. What began at Lake Sammamish was not an isolated crime. It was the beginning of one of the most infamous manhunts in American history. Remembering Denise Naslund. Denise Naslund was not a statistic. She was not just a name in a police file. She was a daughter, a friend, a young woman enjoying a summer day who encountered evil disguised as kindness. Her murder helped expose a predator who relied on trust, politeness, and the assumption of safety. Because of Denise and others, warnings were heard, patterns were seen, but the cost was devastating. Part 5. Ted Bundy's Fate. Ted Bundy was ultimately convicted of multiple murders. He confessed to killing 30 women, though investigators believe the true number may be higher. In January of 1989, Ted Bundy was executed by electric chair at Florida State Prison. His death marked the end of one of the darkest chapters in American criminal history. But for families like Denise Naslund's, the ending did not bring closure, only silence where a life should have continued. On a warm summer day in 1974, Lake Sammamish State Park appeared peaceful. But beneath the sun and water, something terrible unfolded. and the echo of that day still lingers in the Lake Sammamish State Park.